All right, so here we are with another McFarlane DC Superpowers unboxing, and this is Batman again, because can't ever get enough superpowers. Batman, can we? Uh, there's what the back of the package looks like. You see the you know, little bio on the back there, and it's the same bio we always get on these. As a child, Bruce Wayne watched his parents were brutally murdered in Gotham City's crime alley. Traumatized by their deaths, he devoted his life to becoming the world's greatest weapon against crime, Batman. So, got the piece of Jose Luis Garcia Lopez artwork on there. This is the Super Friends version of Batman. He's colored to look as he did on the Super Friends cartoon. This is the crowdfunding figure, so it's the one that came with the Bat Multi-Craft with that particular campaign. You got the cross-style artwork on the back with all these figures, so many Superpowers figures. I do not have the Superman in the black outfit with the mullet, which I really, really want to get, but I don't have them yet. So, but that's pretty much it as far as our cross-style artwork goes. So the next episode, I'm gonna go ahead and open up Robin, and there's the Robin figure that came with this. And what I was gonna do previously, what I thought would have been, the best thing to do would be to open the Jason Todd Robin on the next episode. But the more I think about it, the more I think I'm gonna open up both of these on the same episode. So I'm planning on right now planning on doing this on Sunday. That's going to be my day that I'm planning on opening both of these Robin figures. I actually have an extra of Jason Todd uh, that I got for reasons that I'll get into that when I open all that up. But that's going to be some kind of custom. Real quick, I might as well show you while I'm doing this is here's some of the stuff that came with the crowdfunding figure. Got this thing for bonus points. So and this number on the back, got to scratch that off. But then this digital thing, I don't even know what that is. For looks like a New 52 Tim Drake, but I hate the New 52 Tim Drake design, so I don't even know if I care about that at all. Got blueprints for the Bat Multi-Craft and the Manta sub, so that's pretty cool. The sea saucer, and then got this with all the first wave superpowers characters on it, and it says, here's the back. This is to certify that Alan Belk is an official charter member of the Superpowers fan club, and it's autographed by Superman, Batman, Robin, Wonder Woman, the Penguin, Aquaman, Flash, Hawkman, Brainiac, Lex Luthor, the Joker, and Green Lantern. So they even got like a psychopathic murderer like the Joker to sign that for kids who joined the Superpowers fan club. So wasn't that nice of him? Wasn't that nice of the Joker to do that? So it was nice of all of them, really. But like, you know, oh, is it for the kids? Oh, I'd love to sign it for the kids. So anyway, yeah, let's go ahead and open this up because I've really been excited about this figure, and I want to go ahead and he is nice and glued onto the package here. A lot of the times in McFarlane figures, the McFarlane Superpowers, they barely seem glued onto the package. That's why I don't have the previous blue and gray Detective Batman still on the package, even though I bought an extra one just to keep it on the package, but it fell off. So what are you going to do? All right, so we got the extra bubble there to keep his cape all straight in the packaging. And there's the outer bubble. And here is Batman himself, so you can get a better look at him. And let's go ahead and take him out of the package. And what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to take the cape off the figure so I can pull it through the back here less chance of it getting hung up on something or frayed or something. And I really like the coloring on this Batman figure. I talked last episode about the and it's still in the multi sub, which is in the other room right now. But I talked on the previous episode how I really liked the coloring on the old Iron Winch Batman from the Dark Knight collection. I think it was called Sky Winch in the Batman Returns line. But this is a very similar coloring to that. The blue isn't quite as dark. It's not quite navy blue, but it's definitely a deep sort of a royal blue. He's got the black shading on the forehead, which I like that, and a darker gray than either the previous blue and gray Batman or the black and gray Batman, which I do have that one here, so we can see them side by side. So you can see that he has a darker gray than that version of Batman. I'm going to go ahead and put the cape back on him. This cape is interesting because to try to make it look like the superpowers version of Batman, they actually colored in the inside of the cape black. And Robin, we'll have a look at him real quick in the package. Where's make sure I grab the right one. You see Robin has a black lining to his cape, which really makes me wish that they'd come up with this this idea on how to do the black lining of the cape when they did the original Tim Drake Robin, and that would have been a lot better to have a cape that's black on the outside and yellow on the inside, I think. But yeah, it is kind of cool that they managed to give us a two-toned Batman cape. Maybe before this line ends, they can do a cape that's black on the outside and blue on the inside, like Batman the animated series. That'll give you another Batman figure to make, because I know the Todd father likes making his Batman figures, but I like to fold in the ends of the cape. It looks a little more like the classic superpowers, and to me, this is just like a perfect color scheme for Batman. I like the blue and gray on Batman. That's like my definitive Batman. Like he looks great in black. We know he looks great in black. Michael Keaton looked great in black. He looks great in black and gray. Like I kind of feel like that's actually the original Batman color scheme. That's what he was intended to look like in 1939. It's supposed to be a black cape and cowl, and just has blue highlights on it. But they put more blue onto it as time went on, less black. I guess it's easier to ink them that way. So yeah, Batman basically became a guy in a blue and gray outfit, but it wasn't originally intended to be that. But I do think that this is the way that Batman's coloring pretty much is in my mind, with a nice dark blue and a nice dark gray, and he looks really cool. And it does very much evoke the coloring that he had on the Super Friends cartoon show. I don't think it's 100% those colors. I think that the Mcfarlane recently did like an actual Super Friends line in their 1966 style, which I think those figures look really cool. And that Batman looks exactly like it's got an Alex Toth type of head, and the coloring is I think exactly right on that one. The blue's nice and vibrant. This blue's a little more muted. It's dark, but it's not very vibrant. But I do think it's a great shade of blue for Batman in general. But it's not 100% exactly like the shade on the Super Friends cartoon, but it's close enough. All right, so let's go. We'll take the cape off of him, and then we're going to talk some about the articulation. So let's go over that real quick. So, of course, the head rotates all the way around, and this is a 1980s style action figure with vintage type of articulation. So it is fairly simplistic. The arms rotate all the way around at the shoulders, and the legs can kick up about that far, kick back about that far, so he can do the splits no problem. And then he's got it's basically 5 points of articulation, like an 80s action figure, but he's got an extra point of articulation at each knee, so he's technically 7 points of articulation. And that's typical of superpowers figures from the 80s. Most of those had knee joints, which was, a bonus for us kids back then. Most figures didn't have that much articulation. Like I said, we had 5 points of articulation, and that was about it. And that was good enough for us at the time. But I did like having that extra knee joint on the superpowers figures because it meant he could sit down in a much more natural fashion if you sit him at, like, the computer console at the fortress, not fortress, the Hall of Justice, or anything like that. So you could get a little bit more realistic sort of running pose, which is especially good with a character like the Flash. But even with Batman, like, to have him, be able to run like that is pretty cool. That's not something that they had on the 90s Dark Knight collection figures or Batman Returns figures, even though they used the same basic sculpt as the original Superpowers Batman. And this sculpt is very similar to that one. I want to say from the neck down, it's almost identical. The main difference in the sculpt from the neck down is the belt is a separate piece and not solid on the figure. And the head sculpt, of course, is slightly different from the original 80s Superpowers figures. His ears are a little bit longer and pointier, and his chin is just a little bit more chinny, I think. He's got a little bit more forehead. It's I actually really like this head sculpt, and I think, like I've said before, controversial opinion, in some ways I like this head sculpt even more than the original Superpowers Batman. But it would be really nice if maybe before the line ends they'd give us one that was like an exact reproduction of the original one, like give us that head sculpt. But I don't think that's going to happen, unfortunately. But it would be nice if it did. Let's go and put the cape back on him, and there we go. This is a great figure. I'm really happy with how it turned out. I would say that this was this is probably the best that Mcfarlane has put out so far as Superpowers Batman. Shouty Ma says, "I'm Batman." Well, aren't we all? Like I think there's a part of every man that thinks he's Batman, that believes in his heart that he's Batman. And who's to say that we're wrong? I remember having a comic when I was a kid where there was a guy who was mentally ill and thought he was Batman, like literally thought he was Batman, like was dressing up in the costume and going out and fighting crime himself. And but he was somebody, he used to be a cop, and he was inspired by Batman to become a cop, and his wife and his daughter were killed by criminals, and it drove him insane, and he started to believe he actually was Batman. And he went out and in a Batman outfit and fought crime himself, but he was like murdering criminals when he was doing it. And of course, Batman is not a murderer. So he had to find this guy and stop him, and he did. He caught the guy and saved the day and everything. He's Batman, and it says Batman himself says at the end of the story, like, who am I except for another guy who thinks he's Batman? So even Bruce Wayne, is a guy who thinks he's Batman. And Shawnee Ma says, "I got the Mega Constructs Grayskull. That's awesome. Missing some necessary organs from my body. Sorry, but I got the set finally." Hopefully they're not too necessary. Hopefully, at least something where you machines and life support can keep you going there, because you wouldn't be able to enjoy that. But congratulations, yeah, that's a really nice set. I'd like to have one myself, but I kind of need my organs. I'm too old to give up anymore at this point. But yeah, this is a really great Batman figure, and I think he was to me worth picking up the entire crowdfunding set. I'm glad that I got this. I'm not so sure about Robin. I'm not sold on this Robin figure yet, but we're gonna open him up on the next episode, and we'll see if maybe it can win me over. And while we do that, we're gonna open up the Jason Todd Robin, so that way I can go ahead and compare both of these. And basically, because I can't really talk about my opinions. I don't believe I'm going to be able to properly express my opinions on this crowdfunding Robin without talking about the Jason Todd figure. And I figure when I talk, if I open up Jason Todd on his own, I'm going to wind up talking about this crowdfunding figure a lot. So I figure it would be best for me to open up both of these on the same episode. So that's going to be the next episode where I talk about the crowdfunding Robin figure. But as for Batman, he's really cool. If you can pick one of these up one way or another, go ahead and do it, because this is a great figure. I'm really happy with how it turned out. And this is going to be like probably my definitive Superpowers Batman from here forward. This guy's great. I love him. So the first Superpowers Batman was just kind of okay. I mean, like the cape was horrible, but the figure itself was fine. But like the arms are too small is mainly the problem with that particular Batman. And they use that body a lot, and I kind of feel like it works best for like vintage style like silver and golden age versions. Like I said, I used it as the basis for my Earth 2 Robin. I used it for my Earth 2 Batman, and I thought that worked really well. But I'm glad they went back to the drawing board and gave us the Detective Batman sculpt, because I think he's great, and they did a great job with him. He's a much better figure, in my humble opinion. Uh, the first blue and gray Detective Batman is awesome and matches up with the colors of that original Superpowers Batman pretty well. You know, we've had two solid black ones of this mold. Those are both great, because, like I said, I like him in a black suit too. And then, of course, this black and gray version looks awesome. But to me, my favorite one that I've had so far is this Superpowers. This is Super Friends version. So I'm really happy with how it turned out. This is one of the longest Superpowers openings that I did, just because I really wanted to, express how much I like this figure. So anyway, next episode is going to be Robin. If you want to make sure you don't miss that, make sure that you like, subscribe, all the fun YouTube stuff down below. Leave a comment. Let me know what you think about Batman, both this really cool Superpowers figure and the character in general. And we'll talk to you next time. Bye.